that. You know, let's the apologetic nature of me wants to say, well, I understand how people don't understand and blah blah blah, and they're busy and they're scared, and you know, just make so many excuses for people not understanding. Um, yeah, I'm not really talking about my parents. They helped me out. I understand why they don't see. I just did it. Um, but we need to hold their feet to the fire. Like Dr. Horton, you know, people are dying. This is serious. It's serious business. Women and children are being cooked alive and tortured and experimented on, as well as men. Um, and we need to be unapologetic, and we need to hold people accountable for denying something, especially if they do know about it. Especially if these agencies do know about it and they're mandated to cover it up. We need to hold them accountable because they're allowing murder to continue. They're prolonging murder of children. So if we have laws to, you know, lock people up who are denying an atrocity 80 years ago, you know, we need to start holding people's feet to the fire for denying something that's murdering people right now. Lots of Americans, lots of innocent Americans. Um, I don't feel comfortable coming out that strong about this, and I'm trying to get more comfortable with it because it's a fight for my life and my family's life. But y'all know my nature. You know, I try to be diplomatic. You know, I fight when I need to, but I'm trying to be more assertive because this comes out. It's outside of the wheelhouse of anything in our compliant society. It's not like, you know, oh, well, you behave well and you get good marks in school, or, you know, you're at a job and you need to behave and do everything diplomatic. I mean, this is like we're being murdered and experimented on. Our brains are being twisted by microwaves and electromagnetic frequencies. And then people are vilifying us and calling us crazy and saying that we need to take our medications and we're not getting help from authority figures when we should be able to defend our lives. I mean, it's hard for me, and it's a conditioned thing, and I think this is a problem in our society. Is we've been conditioned, you know, to play ball, to be diplomatic, to do those things. So when something like this comes along, we're all just kind of running around like chickens with our heads cut off, while the sociopaths are playing in blood. And you know, so I'm fighting against that in myself, and I'm trying to be a lot more assertive because this is life and death. It's not like oh well, they're kind of shocking us a little bit. No, I mean they're twisting our brains. They're, you know, reading you know, pretty what would I call it? You know, the inner voice and visuals of our brains. I would call it a superficial gleaming of our thought processes, and then trying to judge our whole brain for that, and then, you know, torturing us, and you know, really dehumanizing us for very superficial glances, you know, at who we are. Our torturers, the contractors who are using this remote neural monitoring equipment, and V2K and directed energy weapon systems. Um, so yeah, I mean that's basically what I think. I'm just kind of this is kind of a free roam of my brain, which is not doing too well right now. You know, last night, and be careful with this. Like, I do the cleansing regimen, guys. And Epsom salt is very good to get these toxins off our skin, the biofilm off our skin and out of our body, and that would be the nanoparticulates. I would consider that nanoparticulates. Um, you know, but when you do the Epsom salt baths, do rinse off a couple of hours afterwards, because I ended up, you know, leaving the Epsom salt on for like 2 days. So about two times that I slept, I had the Epsom salt, you know, and I have a lot of hair on my body, so they were able to really get this frequency, like this electric frequency, and just like my legs were like, it felt like they were being electrocuted and twitching, and I think that it was because the Epsom salt made my skin and hair kind of extra conductive, and so they switched the frequency to kind of match that. And we're you know, we're really hurting me because of that. So be careful. Make sure your skin is pH balanced, because they do use the conductivity of your skin a lot with this stuff. can't really think of anything else. I think I'm gonna do a video about the Cuban embassy. I hope I'm like it's a very complicated and intricate story, so I'm just gonna look it up. But y'all know what I'm talking about. And if you aren't a target individual, please look that up. You can Google that. I guess you would just say attack on Cuban embassy, most recent attack on the Cuban embassy. And those were directed energy weapon systems that were used on them. So I'm gonna do a video on that and get the detailed story, out on a video, because that's some good news, and we've got it. See, right now they're hitting me in the back. It's like a tingling pressure, and it's right in the left, like right under the chest. And what I've kind of been thinking, guys. Okay, and this is something I want to run across all you TIs out there. We have a vagus nerve. Our vagus nerve runs from our head down the left side, through our jaw, down through our shoulder, through our back, down through our leg. And I've been experiencing, for 20 years, pains with my vagus nerve, like in my jaw, my shoulder, my leg, and that was when I didn't know I was being targeted. So I think that I was in a different protocol where I wasn't supposed to know I was being targeted, but they were like hitting my vagus nerve. They were manipulating certain parts of my body to create pain. Then, about 7 years ago, I started hearing the tinnitus sound. I knew I was being hit with an external source. But I've been doing a lot of things to unentrain myself, like Dave CD, the grounding, trying to get some of those free radicals out and drain some of the, when they hit me, it kind of drains out, it grounds out. So what I've noticed is, since I've been doing that, they've been hitting me where I feel like my vagus nerve is. Now, your vagus nerve, like I said, it goes to your jaw, your brain, it goes to your lungs, your heart, your digestive system. So this is what I'm saying, like, not everything is a chip placed in your body where there's a signal going to. And I think as TIs, and I think the Techno Crime Fighter Forum knows this, but they do a strong focus on implants that they can get evidence on, which I think is very smart. But we do have to talk about how this technology is more advanced than that. How it is in training our brain, how it is going through the nerves and the ears and the eyes, frequencies like that. And also, they prime my vagus nerve by hitting me in the back, and then I'll get pains in my leg, pains in my calf muscle or pains in my jaw, because they're hitting it in one spot, and then they're able to send that frequency wherever they want. They're able to gain better control over your lungs, your heart, your digestive system. I mean, this is advanced technology that's very, I would say, amazing and interesting if it was being, used in only good ways, but horrifying the kind of control they can have over one's, mind, like the direction they can, set your mind in, or the direction they can put your body in. Horrifying, and it has to be out in the public, guys. It just has to be out in the public. I've said this a million times. Once it is out in the public, and there's got policies and laws and things where people are watching out for this kind of thing, then it can be used in a safe way, used for advancements. But they're trying to figure out a lot of stuff for for war. They're trying to figure out how this can be used as a neuro weapon. They're doing things that society would not approve of, so they have to do it hidden. I don't think that society right now would approve of, sending a certain frequency to someone's brain to affect their emotions. We'd have a lot of people, if this was out in the open and it was like these frequencies can do this, they can affect your emotions, they can inject visuals into your visual cortex, receive information from your brain. If this was out in the open, there would be a large outcry. And that's why they keep it they keep it hidden, and they are making money off of it. And people who are very unscrupulous, we'll just say pieces of shit. People who are pieces of shit are paid to experiment with this because they have no conscience. You know, they don't care that they're destroying somebody's life or somebody's family. So I went from unscrupulous to a piece of shit. That's pretty kind. Piece of shit is a pretty kind word for these people. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of my thoughts for right now. I'm gonna get some info on the Cuban ordeal, the ordeal in Cuba, and put that story out on YouTube so more TIs can look into that, and more. I'm pretty sure all TIs know about that by now, but just in case, and so non-TIs can go look at that story and connect it to these directed energy weapon systems and what the DoD and a bunch of other countries, I guess DoD or military industrial complexes, are doing with these directed energy weapon systems. You know, they're kind of in a race to do the most with this, to figure out the most of what they can do. You know, the capabilities of it and how far they can take it. I also think that a big angle, and this is my the negativity that's been instilled in me because of how I've seen, you know, how shitty people are to do this and to cover it up. But I think that, you know, the top dogs, the oligarchy, the people who control the money and technology, and kind of, I mean, I think they rule over our governments. Like, they're above our president and everything like that. I think a bottom line here, one of the main angles is how much can we get away with. They want to see how much can we get away with because it's going to impact future plans that they have for the human race, our species. You know, so they want to see, hey, how much can we get away with here? How many people can we murder with you know, wireless energy, which people kind of know about but don't know it can be manipulated in certain ways, and you know, and people will stay silent or work with us. So that's a sad thought. So let's not end it on that. The good things are happening in the TI community. Please do that global TI survey. I have a gut feeling and a brain feeling that is good stuff. That is an outside of the box thing, and you know, the least that it can do is protect you if something does happen to you. They'll have your information and know that you are connected to this program, and that you can get justice in the future or something. I mean, that's the least of what this can do. But the most of what it can do is it can get those guys who are, you know, Bill Binney and Kirk Wiebe, who are just awesome, you know, fighters for humanity. I mean, they're humanity warriors in every sense of the word. They fight for freedom and justice, like, and they're honorable men. So obviously they've been, you know, cast out of their agencies, you know, because that's a society we live in. But you know, they're trying to help us, you know, so let's not complain about people never coming along and trying to help us. These men are, and they will, you know, if they get the correct data and they can show people, look, you know, this is all the same across the board. It couldn't be mental illness because look at these data points. That could be huge. It can be huge. It can get us very, very far. Alright guys, I'm going to kind of, you know, wake up, kind of shake this off, and think of some videos, some more information I can put out. I may go and get some vehicular stalking pretty soon. I've had a lot of sirens when I walk outside. I had a private plane and chemtrails for the last couple of days, so I've been cleansing a lot, so I've seen that. And I guess it's just, it goes into their, you know, it goes into their routine, and I'm just kind of in their routine or whatever. But alright guys, I love y'all. God is behind this. You know, I hope some information was put out in this video. It's pretty slapdash, and I just want to make a video. I just want to feel like I'm fighting and, you know, inspiring, just like other target individuals inspire me. but God is behind us. And I'll see you guys on the next one. I love you guys. All right.